Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm really excited. This is one of my favorite videos to film and I only do it twice a year. We're going to be going over my Sephora Vib sale recommendations. This is where I tell you the best of the best products that I've tried since the last sale. I do still love a lot of the products that I mentioned in my recommendations video in April. I'm going to link that down below and I will also list products down below. But in this video, I am going to be focusing on newer products. So stuff that I've discovered since April because I don't want to be too repetitive. So if you're looking for recommendations for other products that maybe I don't mention in this video and you're like, wait a minute, she said she loved this product, check down below because I will have links to the products that I talk about today and it will be under products mentioned. And then under that, I will have honorable mentions, things that I still love, would highly recommend. I just don't want to be too repetitive and sit here for 2 hours telling you about all the good products. I have to say there was a lot of products that were really good that came out this year, so I have a lot to get through. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe. If you enjoy this type of video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know down below. Are you shopping the sale? Are you not? What are you picking up? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So I thought we'd start with a bang and talk about eyeshadow palettes. There's been a lot that came out recently that I've been loving. I'm wearing this first one on my eyes today. I'm going to be moving quickly. I will try to throw in swatches when and if I can, but I'm trying not to be long-winded here. So the first one is the newest one to me. This is the new Rose Quartz palette from Huda Beauty. I'm wearing it right now. I love this palette. A lot of you were asking me, is this similar to the Natasha Denona Retro? And it is not. I will throw swatches up. They're completely different. So this is her newest big palette. And inside you get so many beautiful shades in here. The mattes in here are very pink, lilac, just gorgeous. And then you get a lot of different textures in terms of like glittery toppers, metallics. This palette is gorgeous. Now, keep in mind, I love pinks. You often see me wear a matte pink in the crease, pink cheeks, pink lips. So if you like pink, you will like this. This is more cool toned than even the retro from Natasha Denona, but I've been testing it out pretty much every day since I did my video on this and I can't stop using it. I think it's beautiful. The quality is great on this. I highly recommend it. Speaking of the retro, I highly recommend the Natasha Denona Retro palette. You can see mine has been well loved. A lot of these have been well loved and I'm like, wow, I really have been playing with shadow a lot more recently. Now you get a lot of cream to powder formulas in here, which I actually love. You can use them for liner as well, but this is much more of a taupey sort of purple maroon vibe. You do have a little bit of warmth over here if you want to make it more peachy, but it really is a cool toned palette. It's just not quite as like lilac cool toned as the Huda. They're just very different. This one I would say is more wearable for everybody because I feel like pretty much everybody will look good in these colors, whereas the Huda Beauty one I feel like is very pink, lilac, pastel, and some people don't like pinks on their eyes. This is more of like a maroon, burgundy, taupey, silver, purple type of vibe. Highly recommend this. I had to say I also recommend the bronze. I also recommend the Love palette. I also recommend the Glam palette. All of her mid-size palettes are my top picks from Natasha. So if you love this color story, you will be thrilled with this palette. Now, if you're new to Natasha Denona, you really don't want to jump in with a midi palette even or one of her huge palettes. I recommend the Mini Metropolis just to try this out. The price point on this is great. It does come with a brush as well. This is my first mini, but a lot of people really love the minis. And this blends beautifully. You've got a gorgeous green and then you've got this gold. Now, the gold can be a little bit chunky, so I would use a glitter glue. The mattes blend beautifully. I love Natasha's formula and it's the same formula here in the mini as well. Now, if you have the Metropolis palette, don't get this because it already has 3 of the same shades. But if you don't, or you just want something more affordable to try out her formula and you like this color story, this is a great little palette. Now, you know I wasn't going to talk about my favorite eyeshadow palettes without talking about the infamous Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. When this came out, I went to the store the day of, filmed, edited, and uploaded. This palette is absolutely gorgeous, okay? Patrick Ta is like one of my favorite brands. This palette has so many different textures in here. You have metallics that are very shiny and creamy. Then you've got these kind of topper shades, and they don't look like much when you swatch them, but if you watched my review, when you put this on the eye, I call it sophisticated glitter, very similar to how Pat McGrath special shades are. You have to build them up, but they just give you a gorgeous look. Also in this palette, you have creams, which is pretty unique to palettes, and these actually perform great. They're not too sticky, they're not sliding around, but they have a nice kind of tack to them where you can put deeper shades on top. Let's say if you were doing a smoky eye or you were doing a halo eye and you wanted a base, and the mattes in here blend beautifully. Honestly, this palette is an A+, gorgeous, but really this palette never fails me. It blends beautifully, and every time I wear it, people are like, what's on your eyes? And it's really those shimmery shades, so I would highly recommend this palette. I have one 9-pan eyeshadow palette that I've only used twice, so I just want to keep that clear, but it performed beautifully. And when you see the swatches, this is the Huda Beauty Wild Jaguar palette. So the color story really drew me in. It's very cool toned again. We're seeing a lot of cool tones, and I think that's really beautiful for the fall and even for like New Year's Eve. You guys, these shades are absolutely perfection. You have this beautiful like middle shade, which is more of like that baked gelée, and then you've got just like these gorgeous, almost look like asphalt. They look wet on the eyes, and then the mattes in here are so gorgeous. You have a black, so you can really deepen it. You've got this really, really cool toned gray shade. Let me go ahead and swatch this. I mean, so pretty. And then you've got sort of a chocolatey brown to kind of ground it if you don't want it to be too cool toned. This will give you that wet look on the eyes. These are really creamy too, so they're not like chunky. They're very creamy, and they give you that like asphalt look on your lids. Absolutely stunning. I think for New Year's Eve, like this palette is going to be beautiful. If you love the color story, I would recommend checking this out. I have two more palettes to mention. The first one being the Pat McGrath Mothership Celestial Odyssey palette. So this is her holiday palette. She usually releases these once a year, and I just love that you get that shiny background in this one. In the previous years, it had a matte black background. It kind of gave me like Morphe vibes. And when you're spending, you know, a pretty penny on Pat McGrath, you really want the luxe feel. This feels weighted too. Like this feels like a nice substantial palette. So this is $78, and you get all of these different shades. I think there's 18 shades. Now you're really paying to try all the different shimmers and metallics. There's different finishes in here, and there's a ton of different colors. So if you've never tried Pat McGrath and you don't want to spend $100 and some, but you really want to test out some of her metallics, some of her mattes, and get a feel for her brand, or if you're someone that loves shimmers, if you always put a metallic on your lid, you can't do an eye look without a metallic, I think you would really like this palette. But if you want to really splurge and you want these special shades, I would recommend the Utopian Dream palette. This is her most recent Mothership 10-pan palette. This is $125, but of course you're going to get the discount during the sale. This shade is just incredible, and really you're paying for the packaging, but the top 4 shades here, which are her special shades. Now, I wanted to tell you guys, the day I'm filming this, which is Monday, Pat McGrath website is having a sale. It's 30% off most of her website, which is including this palette and her blushes and her foundation, really everything but I think the holiday palette and a couple blush trios. So 30% off, and then there's a 10% off code on top of it. So you could get this palette for, I think it was $79, so 40% off. So I will leave the information down below. Again, I don't know how long this sale is going on the Pat website. I'm sure it will probably end today or tomorrow or very shortly. So check down below. I just want to let you guys know if you're watching this now. But if you missed it and you're watching this later, you can still save money at the Sephora sale. And I would recommend this palette over all her Mothership palettes. I just think the color story and the quality is gorgeous. Now let's talk face palettes. I have 3 to recommend, and of course, you know I couldn't go without recommending the beloved Patrick Ta blush palette. This is sold out and then restocked and then sold out and then restocked. I can't even count how many times. I'm trying to keep you guys updated because it keeps selling out. Honestly, I can't get enough of this palette. If by any chance this comes in stock during the sale, just don't even hesitate, add it to cart and check out. I'm wearing this shade today mixed with a little bit of this shade. I love all of these shades. Like, they're so gorgeous. You can mix them. This is Baby Doll. This is Bright Punchy, as you see on me right now. And this is like a burnt, warm, just gorgeous, gorgeous color. He knocked it out of the park with this. I hope it becomes permanent. It's that good. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite releases of the year, like literally. So it pains me that it's not in stock and everybody can't just like get it when they want to. If this is out of stock and you've never tried his duos, try the regular duos, but I think they're out of stock too. You know, it's just a good thing and everybody wants it. Not much else I can say except for add it to cart. This next palette is something that I've fallen in love with off camera. When I tried it on camera, I was a little bit so-so. I tend to have preferences when I do a full glam look like this. I prefer to have an all matte base. I really don't want radiance, but in my everyday life, I actually like radiance because I feel like I can kind of put it over my nose, the blush, the bronzer, the highlight, really make my skin glow, and then do more of like a glossy lip. I just like different things depending on if I'm doing full glam like you see me now, or if I'm just doing like my everyday look. So I've fallen in love with this Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Universe Unlocked palette. This is for those of you that loves a glow. You love that lit from within look and you like a glow in everything. So I'm talking bronzer, blush, highlight, and then there's this finishing powder. So I really picked this up for the blushes, and they are punchy. So if you like blush like me, you will like this. The highlighter is really intense. Let me swatch this. So these really don't swatch the best. They're just kind of something that you really have to put on your skin. The blushes are gorgeous. The bronzer is super glowy. My only complaint is I wish the bronzer was a little bit deeper, just because everything else in the palette seems a little bit deeper, but the color story still works for me. The blushes are punchy and gorgeous, but just know this is a very glowy palette. So if you like a glow, you like glowy bronzers, radiant blushes, highlight, or even like soft focus powders like the Hourglass powders, I think you would really enjoy this. I just tend to really love this on days when I'm not doing a full glam. This last face palette is actually completely different than the Hourglass, and I actually prefer this when I am full glam. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Nudegasm face palette. I think this is my first palette, or my first palette in a long time from her. And when I tried this on camera, I was kind of so-so, but I think it's because I didn't really pay attention. This is actually a sculpting palette. So these two are really gonna give you that sculpted look. Because I'm a little bit thick, I like to sculpt my face out. I like to, you know, give my face some dimension because I do have a rounder face. So I use these two shades, and I do tend to prefer Baked Gelée in general. Like the Dior Backstage palettes are top tier. Again, like the Hourglass glowy look, this is kind of gonna give you that. And then this is a nice just base highlight. It's one of those that I can wear really with anything because it doesn't have too much of a yellow, gold, pink tone to it. My only complaint, as I've said before, is we need more options. One face palette is not gonna cut it, and these brands need to do better. So Charlotte, if you're listening, please expand and come out with like 3 or 4 different colorways so everybody can enjoy it. So now I want to move into complexion. I don't have any new moisturizers or primers that I really want to rave about. I'm still loving the Freck Rich Bitch and also the Tarte Timeless. So I will link those down below because I'm wearing those today. But I do have 2 new foundations that I've been loving. So first I have to give it to the new Lawless Conceal the Deal foundation. This says it's full coverage. I would say it's more medium. This really is a self-setting, soft matte feel, very liquidy and lightweight. I think it is the sister to the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation. This is lighter coverage, lighter feel, but they have that same sort of self-setting, smoothing texture. Now here's the thing. If you have dry skin, I don't think you would like these. If you have dry patches, make sure that you're moisturizing. I have a mixture of both of these on today. Honestly, I still love this for mixing. I can mix it into anything and it bumps the coverage up and gives me that smooth appearance, but this has been my go-to recently, the newest foundation that I've been trying. If you look in my description boxes, I've been wearing it in pretty much every video. It wears super well, does not get oily, but what I find about it is both of these are very smoothing. So if you tried this and you liked it, or you thought it was maybe a little heavy and you had to mix it, you may like this one. It's just a lighter option. You can build it up to full coverage. This one's more of like a full glam, full coverage, whereas this one I feel like can go either way. My other new foundation is actually a tinted moisturizer. This is the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. This is not new, it was new to me. I love this. This is the best tinted moisturizer I've ever tried. It has an SPF of 30, but you really want to use your SPF, you know, underneath it. This is such a smoothing, thin texture. It gives you a glow, but it's not heavy. A lot of the tinted sunscreens or tinted moisturizers I've tried are so thick and heavy. They feel like skincare, and I just feel like I cannot set them down. They just drive me crazy, and I feel like they're just so sticky on my skin. I don't feel that with this. It is a light, buildable to light medium coverage. It's enough for me to really just even out my skin tone. When I want a glowy look or a light coverage, this is my go-to. I honestly usually don't like tinted moisturizers, so this one shocked me, and even though it's not new, it was new to me, and I've been loving it. So now let's talk concealer. There was a lot of concealer releases, and I have 3 that really stood out to me. You already know I'm going to talk about the Anastasia Beverly Hills Magic Touch. This is such a beautiful concealer, very hydrating, high coverage. Typically when you have high coverage, you don't get as much hydration, but you get the best of both worlds with this one. I'm in the shade 9. It's my top pick, favorite concealer release of the year. It's just gorgeous. Also had to mention the Kosas Revealer Concealer. Very similar to the ABH. I would say a little bit less coverage, a little bit thinner texture on this one. My only thing is these run yellow. So just be mindful of checking the shades before you purchase this, but I've actually gone through an entire tube of this. This is what I use on my eyes as an eyeshadow base. It really does a good job at covering up my microblading, but I love it under the eyes as well. I have 01 for my lid, but I also use like 03 for my under eye. And then my third pick is the Lancome Tint Idole Concealer. This one is beautiful as well. It's not quite hydrating like these two. It's not drying by any means, but it's not as hydrating as these two. So if you have a really dry under eye, you may want to check out these two. This is more of my full glam concealer. It gives me a nice smooth appearance. A little goes a long way. It gives me the coverage. So I've really been impressed this year with the releases. I don't think the Kosas was brand new, but I know these two were, and they really knocked it out of the park with both of these formulas. So moving on to powders, I'm still adoring my Huda Beauty Pound Cake. It's just one of my favorite smoothing powders, the best smoothing powder at Sephora. But I have 2 pressed powders that I wanted to rave about. The first is the Turn Up the Base One Size Powder Foundation. I have 3 light, which is neutral, I believe. And this can be a powder foundation, sort of like a MAC Studio Fix, but I really use it as a setting or touch-up powder. So if I'm getting oily in my T-zone, or if I've taken my contour down too far, I go under my contour or around the T-zone. It's a very smoothing powder. It doesn't enhance your texture. This does have a medium coverage, so again, you could use it alone, but I really like it just for touch-ups. A lot of times I'm getting ready, I do my makeup, and then right before I film, I will put this like under my contour, just on my forehead, really to smooth everything out. So I really like this. I actually am going to buy another one during the sale. It's already in my cart. And then for those of you that use cream products, this is the best powder that I've ever tried to set down cream products. So if you're someone that's using a cream bronzer or cream blush and you like to set it afterwards, this powder is special. This is the Dior Powder No Powder from the Backstage line. I have the shade 3. Now this is too deep for me to use in my T-zone, but this is the only powder that I will reach for to press on top of cream bronzers or blushes. Really for me, more so a cream bronzer. This is such a special powder that it does not lift or patch on top of creams, which I have a problem with so many times. It's just one of those that works really great with creams. I want to maybe get a lighter shade to see if I could use it to set like my concealer and everything, but this shade is a little bit too deep for me, so I might during the sale grab the shade like 2 or maybe even 1. And since I was talking about the Dior powder, I wanted to show you the tool that I've been loving to use with it. I've used this many times on my channel, but this is the Beauty Blender Power Pocket Puff. Cheryl turned me onto this, and this is the perfect duo to set creams. I just rub it in there lightly, and then you just press over top of any of your cream products, and it sets beautifully. I also use this just to set my makeup. I also use it to touch up. Again, if I'm getting oily, I will grab this with my One Size powder and just sort of blot the center of my face. It really is supposed to be like a blotting tool, but I do use powders with it. It is just great for those of us that have pores and really want to set down and smooth out our texture. So this is another favorite. These two are the dream team if you're a cream lover. So moving on to bronzer, I only have 2 to mention and they're both very different. I'm still loving a bunch of my older bronzers, which I will link down below just because I don't want to be too repetitive. But the 2 new ones, one of them is a radiant powder and then one of them is actually a cream. The first one is the Glowish by Huda Beauty. This is her Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder. This is beautiful. If you love a radiant look without glitter, you will like this. It is sort of hard pressed, so it's one of those that's quite buildable. You really kind of got to dig your brush in there to get it out. Same formula as her new blushes that she came out with, but this just gives a beautiful glow to the skin without enhancing your texture. It is that baked down formula, and I tend to really prefer that in a lot of my complexion products where they're not super powdery at all. There is no powder kick up in this at all. It's just a beautiful radiant bronzer to give warmth to the face. My other pick is actually a cream bronzer. It's shocking to me, but I have to say I bought this before it even became available on Sephora, and this is the easiest cream bronzer I've ever used. This is from Refi Beauty, and I have the shade Tan. Now I will say this is very dewy and this is very warm. So this is not gonna contour or sculpt. It is very, very warm toned, but this is the easiest to blend cream bronzer that I've ever tried. I can actually use this over powder or on an unset face. It's very dewy, but it just blends effortlessly. Like, you cannot mess this up. So while this is very dewy, it blends easier than any other cream contour or bronzer that I've ever tried. Like, literally foolproof, and I struggle. You guys know that I get patchiness, which is why I don't tend to reach for these products. My only complaint is there's only 3 different shades, and it is a very, very warm shade. So just know that going in. It almost has like a reddish terracotta undertone on this shade, which is the middle shade called Tan. But if you like a dewy cream bronzer, if you like a warm sun-kissed cream bronzer, you will fall in love with this product. Moving on to blush, which is one of my favorite categories. I'm still loving the ones that I mentioned from last year, the Tower 28 cream blushes, the Melt cream blushes, also the Lawless powder blushes. Now, of course, the Patrick Ta palette, which I already mentioned, is my top blush pick, but I've also been loving these Dior Backstage blushes. Now, I'm hesitant again to talk about these because I feel like they're gonna be sold out. They've been kind of in and out of stock. They went viral because people said that Kylie wore the shade. So I, of course, saw it all over the internet, dug them out of my stash, and I've been loving them. So you have the pink and the coral. These are absolutely beautiful. They are powder blushes, but they adjust to your skin tone. They're really buildable, so they are one of those that I feel like you really can't mess it up. Like, you really got to build it up. They just look like glowing from within. I mean, they really are gorgeous. I don't know if these are going to be in stock, but they are one of my top picks. Why is everything that I love not in stock? Like, why? Because it's good, that's why. And then I have one cream blush that I want to mention that's new. These are the Say Dew cream blushes or liquid blushes. The 2 shades specifically I would recommend would be Peachy, top tier, gorgeous terracotta color. They are super blendable. A little goes a long way. I would never with a cream blush just swipe it on. So if you have issues with lifting, definitely put it on the back of your hand and then take a sponge and then tap it onto your cheeks. These go over powder just fine, but the Peachy shade is really my favorite. It's almost like a creamsicle, I don't know, peachy tan shade. And then Rosy, I feel like, is probably the most universal. I feel like anybody would love this. These are dewy, but they have a thin texture. They're not heavy or goopy. I really tend to like cream blushes that are actually in a pan, like a cream, but these stood out to me. The colors and the effect that these give on the skin really is gorgeous. So if you're a cream or liquid blush lover, I think you would really enjoy these. They have 2 other shades too. One's really neon and then one's more of a berry purple, but these are my 2 picks. Next, I have a couple of brow products that have become top drawer for me. The first one is the Makeup by Mario Master Hold Brow Gel. So this brow gel is the thinnest, most lightweight brow gel that I've tried. I've tried the ABH Brow Freeze, which is great. The Patrick Ta. I've tried the Got To Be Gel, which is great and probably the most affordable. I've tried pretty much everything, but I like the ease of use because I can just wiggle this through and then you flip the brush over and really push the hairs against the skin, and it holds all day. You just have to press the hairs against the skin. You can't just fluff it through. You have to really push them, make sure that they're locked in and set down. My only complaint is you don't get a ton of product in here, but ease of use, 10 out of 10, so I don't care. I'll keep buying it. The other product, very similar. This is the Huda Beauty Balm Brows. I have light brown here, but I really prefer medium brown. This is the smallest brow pencil on the market. This is smaller than the Benefit, any of the other brands, and that's why it's special. You can really do hair-like strokes. I mean, you can really do it. This is a stiffer formula too, which I like. It's not sliding all over. I have control. I've gone through an entire medium brown and I already have a couple more in my cart. Only complaint, again, these are very easy to use and top drawer products, but you don't get a lot of product for the price, so I definitely want to stock up during the sale. I have one eyeliner to mention, and this is the Huda Beauty Lifeliner Quick and Easy. This is her newest brush tip liner. So if you've been using the KVD Tattoo, or really the NYX Epic Ink, really any of the brush tip liners, this is basically that, but a smaller version. So I think she's really knocking it out of the park with these releases. She's giving us more precision for those of us that struggle. I struggle lining the inside of my eye. I don't know if it's just my eye shape or what, but I feel like it gets too thick and then I don't like the way it looks. So I've been loving this to really get in there and line everything, and I love a brush tip. So if you like the KVD Tattoo, which is one of my top picks, this is an even more detailed small brush. I've been using it a ton. I'm wearing it right now, and you guys know I love my wing. Now I've got two mascaras to mention. One of them is newer and I feel like a lot of people are really enjoying, which is the Rare Beauty mascara. So this is one of the newer ones I've tried. This gives me intense volume, intense curl. It really makes my lashes look quite big, even though they're very small. So that's why I like this product. You don't have to work hard to really just get your lashes to be like bam. Now I will say I do not deal with smudging or flaking. I'm not sure why. I know a lot of people have issues with that. I think because I do bake or set my under eyes so heavily, I never have smudging at all. So this one just gives me volume and length super quickly. I don't have to work hard. So when I want my lashes to really pop, this is one that I would reach for. And my other one is actually my all-time favorite. Nobody ever talks about this. This is the Lily Lashes Triple X mascara. I actually have another one in my cart. This has a bigger wand than the Rare Beauty. What I like about this is it's not messy. I would say this is more of a dry formula, and you can really get in there and make your lashes pop. It doesn't get all over my lid. This is one of my favorites, and recently I put it in a box for an empties video. I was thinking about doing an empties video and I was running out of this, and I actually literally got back in the box and I was like, well, maybe it's not empty, because I love this so much. It makes my lashes look long, and I just like the dry formula. It's not messy. It's just one of my top picks that I hear no one talk about, but I am going to repurchase this. And for me to repurchase a mascara is pretty rare just because I have so many that I rotate, but this one, when it's gone, I miss it. So now we're on to lips. I have one lip liner that I've been loving, and this is the Perfectionist Lip Pencils from Melt Cosmetics. As you can see, I bought 4, and I have, I think, 1 or 2 more in my cart because I love this formula so much. So I'm wearing Cinnamon today, which is usually not a shade I go for. It's more of a, I guess, warm red kind of shade. Still nude, but I've been wearing that a lot. And then Sepia when I want that brown look. It's a olive toned brown. I love the formula on these. They are a wooden pencil. They give me MAC lip pencil vibes, so they don't slip and slide. They don't get gunky. I just really love the formula. And I am even able to wear Bare, which is the lightest shade here, for every day when I just want something like really, you know, minimal. But these are great. Great. I don't know if they're replacing their older formula, which was great as well, but I like this new formula and I want to see them expand into more colors. So along with the lip liners, I have to give it to Melt on their reformulated Ultra Matte lipsticks. I love the color range. There are so many different colors. I love the packaging. So I wear the shade Hora a lot, which that shade is a little bit interesting, but this is a beautiful baby pink. It's just something that I reach for all the time with a deeper lip liner. I also really like Zaddy, which is more of a warm toned, very light shade, but they have so many different colors. Now these are matte, so they're not gonna give you a shine. They're not gonna give you hydration, but they're a very thin formula. So I feel like you can kind of put a little bit on the center of your lip and tap it out, and they hang on for a while without getting like crusty or cracking or anything like that. This shade is called Frisky, but check out Sephora. They have so many different shades. Like, I'm telling you, the shade range is absolutely insane. I also have this really interesting sort of like cool brown shade called Voyeur. Tons of different shades, and you can see like when I swatch it, it's not like dragging or super dry, but it is a matte lipstick, so just keep that in mind. But it's a comfortable matte, and I love the colors. I like to pat a little bit in the center of my lips with a lip liner. It's just gorgeous. The other matte lipstick I'm loving is the new one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is her matte lipstick in Cover Star. This is just like the perfect nude for me to wear with a deeper lip liner. I also picked up Catwalking, which I haven't worn yet. I've only swatched. It's the second lightest. So this is more of a, I guess, like Your Lips But Better, more like on the Pillow Talk side, whereas this one is more like a really true nude. But I love the formula on this. If you like a lot of my lip combos where I do a deeper lip liner and then a light shade, Cover Star would be your pick, and you can't really go wrong with Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. Now, if you're someone that doesn't like matte lipsticks, you want something balmy and shiny that still has pigment, I have to give another shout out to the YSL Lip Shines. These are so gorgeous, and every time I wear this shade, shade. I get so many compliments. This is the shade 86. It is Your Lips But Better, just super shiny. These smell incredible, and they don't slip and slide, so they're not like super thin where they're all over your face. And then the other shade that I've fallen in love with is 121, which is just a little bit more of a brown, whereas this one's more of a Your Lips But Better. I mean, these are just gorgeous. You can throw a lip liner on and then put one of these on, and they hang on for quite a while. The packaging is luxe, but this is one of my favorite shiny sort of balm products that still has pigment. Now, in terms of lip gloss, I only have two. The first one, I still have to give it to the Lawless Forget the Filler Plumping, Smoothing, and Nourishing Lip Gloss. These are incredible. They are a little bit tacky, but they are so hydrating on the lips. They really do smooth out the lines on your lips. There are 3 different shades right now, and I actually just saw this morning that there's a limited edition set with all 3 of these shades in minis, so I will link that down below. But this one is Daisy Pink. It's probably my most used. There's a clear one, and then we also have Velvet, I think it's called, which is more of that like mauve-y shade. These are just high shine, comfortable. Sometimes I use them like as an actual lip balm if my lips are dry. So if you want to get your hands on these, the sale is a perfect time. And like I said, there is a limited edition trio with these 3 shades I just saw today. So I will link them separately, and then the set as well. The other gloss I wanted to recommend was the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Heat in the shade Hot Cherry. This is very much like the Jaclyn Cosmetics lip oils. It gives you that beautiful sort of jelly, high shine, like you had a popsicle type of look. It does have plumping in it. I would say it is not as intense as the lip injections from Too Faced, but it's a little bit more than the Buxom. So it does have sort of a spicy scent to it, mixed with like a fruity scent. So if you're very sensitive and you don't want like any tingling at all, I wouldn't get these. But it really just gives you that high shine glass finish. And I really like this shade in particular because it really just makes your lips look juicy and wet. So it does plump a little bit, but really it's more of this shade and the high shine finish that I love about this. I also couldn't do this video without talking about my favorite lip balm that I use at night. I keep them in all of my drawers. We have one in my car, in my purse, and they expanded this year. These are the Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balms. Incredible. My favorite lip balm ever. I used to use the Laneige, which I do still like, but this has replaced it. My favorites are Watermelon Kiss, Mango Kiss. I also have the chocolate, which I thought I was going to hate. It's Cocoa Kiss. I don't hate it though. I also love banana, and then they have the original. And then I also bought a limited edition set for the holidays. That's how much I love these. These coat your lips, and they have a little bit like of a cooling feel, and they have a little bit of pigment. So this watermelon one gives you a really light pink pigment, probably why I like it the most. I like them before bed. They don't break me out. They're so nourishing. They're not sticky. They just coat the lips and feel incredible. I cannot recommend these enough. Really, you can't go wrong with any of the different flavors because they're all just so good. Still absolutely loving the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. As you can see, I've gone through this. I've gone through multiples of these. I actually have a backup. It locks your makeup in all day. It just really makes a difference in the longevity of your makeup. Now, it does have a scent. It smells a little bit like cherries to me, so if you're sensitive, just know that. But this will lock your makeup down. I've had so many of you guys pick this up and tell me that it made such a difference when you were wearing a mask to work or whatever it was. So if you're looking for a setting spray that is really going to lock your makeup in so it lasts all day, this is still my top pick. I have a couple hair products that I want to touch on, and I really don't go crazy and try to mention like 10 different hair products. These are ones that are like really standing out to me. This shampoo is the best purple shampoo I've tried. This is the Olaplex Blonde Enhancer. This is so intense. When I went to get my hair done the last time, she's like, have you tried the Olaplex? And I was like, oh yeah, I love it. And she was like, I cannot believe this. So after you bleach your hair, it's like neon yellow and you have to tone it. She put this on my roots for 2 minutes and it took the yellow out. She was like, I'm amazed. It has a thin texture to it. It lathers well. You don't need a lot of it. And you can see like how dark this is. This will tone your hair in 2 minutes, whereas other ones you have to leave it on for like 5, 10. I noticed that I only really have to use purple shampoo once a week now, which is great for me because I don't have the patience to be constantly like in the shower waiting for it to tone my hair. This is intense. So it's not for the faint of heart. If you've never used a purple shampoo, maybe mix this half and half with your shampoo or try another one, but it is a little bit drying. All purple shampoos are, but the fact that I really only have to use it once a week now, I just am obsessed. Now, another option, if you're looking for something a little bit softer that gives you hydration, I've been really impressed with this Bumble and Bumble Illuminated Blonde Conditioner. It's actually hydrating. So usually anything that's like a purple shampoo or conditioner says it's hydrating. It never is. This actually is. So this is basically like a normal conditioner, but it actually tones. So it says to leave it on for 5 minutes. I leave it on for, you know, whenever I'm washing my body, shaving my legs, all of that stuff. It has a good pigment to it. It's not like lavender or lilac. So it actually does tone. So the days that I don't use the Olaplex, I just use a normal shampoo, and then I'll just use this as my conditioner just to get a little bit of the brassiness out. So this is a softer option if you want something that's hydrating. The Olaplex is like the big daddy. When you really have yellow hair and you want to get it silver, you go for the Olaplex. If you want something soft that's just going to keep the yellow tones at bay and you want it to be moisturized, go for this one. I have 2 hair tools to mention. These are pricey, but this is the perfect time to get the discount. I have to rave about this again. This is my T3 single pass curling iron. I used it today and I just curled the pieces and then brushed through. This curls my hair better than any other curling iron. It really helps hold a curl. For those of you that have fine hair like I do, I have baby fine hair. I have a lot of it, but it's very fine and it does not hold a curl well. I don't know what it is about this one specifically, but it really is my go-to, especially if I want to brush my curls out. Most other curling irons, I'll curl my hair and if I brush it out, it's flat. This one, I still get that nice kind of body. So if you're looking for a curling iron during the sale and you want something that's really going to hold your curl, this is the one I would recommend specifically, so I'll link it down below. So along with the T3, I never thought I would love this product and recommend it, but honestly, I use it every single day. This is the Dyson Airwrap. I purchased this myself. I believe I purchased it in the last sale, so I did get my 20% off. I mean, it's super expensive. This is such a great tool. So you have so many different attachments. I use the hairdryer side pretty much every day. I do have the Dyson hairdryer, but it's in my master and I get ready usually in my filming room. So some of the sets come with these different barrels, I believe in 2 different sizes. And then I actually purchased the longer hair barrels. There's so many different options on there. I think I have almost everything. You also have this, which is great when you want to do like a swoop bang. This really gives you that. So when I want sort of a bang like I have right now, but even more lifted, I will use the Airwrap. You can just kind of twist your hair around it like a curling iron or curling wand, or you can just let it grab your hair and it'll do the work for you. It's just really an interesting tool. And the fact that you get the attachment for the hairdryer with it, it's like a 2-in-1. It's just such the perfect tool to give you the loose curls, to give you volume. If you have curtain bangs, it's great for that, to give you that sort of blowout look. Every time I've used this, like on my bangs and filmed, the comments are like, what are you doing with your hair? And the only thing is I'm not using a curling iron, I'm just using this. And I like that you get the attachment for the hairdryer. So for me, if you're in between the hairdryer and the Airwrap, I would go for the Airwrap. You just have so much more options and versatility. And as expensive as it is with the 20% off, I think it's a great investment because I use it pretty much every day. So to finish off, I want to give you some recommendations on fragrances. I'm going to move quickly because I feel like this video is so long. Of course, I'm going to recommend Skylar Vanilla Sky. This is such a beautiful vanilla fragrance. It has cappuccino and caramelized cedar and vanilla. It just smells absolutely incredible. One of my top picks, and I saw they had a duo where you can get the full-size bottle and a travel size for the same price as the full size. Highly recommend it. Also, Kilian Love Don't Be Shy. This smells like grape bubblegum. Delicious, probably the sweetest scent that I've ever owned, but I don't care, it smells delicious. And there's rumors that Rihanna wears this. I bought the travel size and then went back and bought the full size. That's how much I love it. It's incredible. Also, Kilian Princess, if you like a little bit of like a sweet, cozy scent, but you want some spice to it. Very similar to the Vanilla Sky. It's not sickly sweet like the Love Don't Be Shy. Princess is great, wow. Princess is even better than I remembered. I haven't worn this in a while, but it is delicious. This is a great like fall cozy scent. Still sweet, but it has a little bit of a spice to it. I feel like a lot of people would love this. Also Nest, they have these fragrance oils. So these are the perfume oils, and if you love vanilla, Madagascar vanilla is incredible. I wish they had these in a spray, but I understand their oils. This smells absolutely incredible. Can you tell that I love vanilla? Because Obviously I do. Also, the Seville orange smells like, I don't know, like citrus creamsicle. It's so delicious. These smell incredible. I actually went in store. I think it was the day I went to get the Patrick Ta palette, and I was smelling all these, and then I was like, okay, I need to buy these. Also, highly recommend Tom Ford Lost Cherry. I recently got it. It smells so good. If you've ever smelled Escada cherry in the air, Tom Ford Lost Cherry is like the more elegant, sophisticated sister to that. Still sweet with the cherry, but has a smokiness to it. It's just a grown-up fragrance with a lot of depth. It's just beautiful if you're looking for a luxury perfume. Also wanted to recommend Forever Mood candles. I love them. She has a set that has her sort of like spring scents in it, and then she has the Send Mood set, which is in the brown jars. I would recommend those. They're perfect for this time of year. I have literally bought maybe 15 of her candles, and they are not cheap. So I will link some of the Forever Mood sets down below, but they have a high throw to them. They really smell incredible, and they just make your whole house smell delicious. So if you've been wanting to try Forever Mood candles, they have some sets and singles. It's a perfect time to get them with the discount. All right, guys, so I think that is everything for my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff even though we went over so much. So I will leave other things linked down below that maybe I didn't mention, so I don't want to be too repetitive. I tried to move quickly because we had a lot to go over. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment down below and we can chat. Also, I will leave all the information down below in terms of the sale and who can shop when, because I just realized in my intro, I forgot to say that because I was so like, had all my products out and I really wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So all the information will be down below in the description box, as well as links for everything. Let me know what you're picking up during the sale. What are you shopping for? Are you shopping the sale? Are you not? I will probably have a couple more videos to do with Sephora coming in this week. So I'll probably do like a gift guide video, and I'll probably do a haul. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.